Alright, so quickly I'm going to go over how I made my animated GIF. So I'm going to turn off all my layers. So first thing I did, started with my photo. Remember, I changed it into a ghost. I did my blurs, and then painted my face, darkened my eyes and other areas. Then I worked on my eyes. So the first thing I did when I got to my eyes is I made my very first set of eyes, right? And I add my smoke to it, and I showed how to do that in the last video. And then what I did was I then duplicated that in different sets. So I have my right eye, left eye, and then I did the next iteration of it. So the flame gets a little bit bigger. I did the next one after that. It gets a little bit larger than that. And I kept going until I got brighter and brighter, and then I got all the way out, right? And for each of these layers, and I'll show you in the layers at the bottom. So, and then the final one was like that, right? So you can see what they look like. And I color coded them so I won't, when I'm doing my my thing here, it all works. So I'm going to revert this so you can see. So turn off all of these, and we'll just go to the smoky eyes, go back. Actually, let's see, revert. So I'm going to go back to layer 1, number 1, right? And get rid of all of these. So at this point, what I did was I made my eyes. And if you look at layer 1, I don't have any eyes on when I get to the second one. And to add a new layer, all I did, a new image into my timeline, I just clicked the new image button. It just keeps duplicating it. So I don't do anything yet. But right here, what I did was I added a glow. So my glow changed in the background. And then here I did some more. I added the eyes. So on this layer, the eyes come in. This layer, the next eyes come in. This layer, the third one comes in. And I just keep moving it up and changing things. All right, fourth layer, fifth layer. See, we're on the reds already, and so on until I get all the way to the end, right? And then I did my eyes, all right? For the other eyes, so I also had these, so the drips. So we can look at the drips. I'm gonna go back to layer 1. So I have my original drip, and I just kept that as a base. So I start here, add my glow back in, and then so at this point I have a little bit of a drip, little drip. My next one I have a little bit more, and I keep adding more and more drip to it until I get to this point where it's all the way out of my eyes. And all I did was I used my liquefy tool and my transform, and I started with that first original one, and I just kept stretching it. So I worked from this one right here, and I'd make it small. So if I hold down my command key and drag it up, so it started out really small like that, and I just kept adding to it. And then at some points I go to liquefy, and I just drag these out longer and longer and longer until it looked like it was running down my face, right? And I do that for each of the animations, all right? And then again, I had my text. So if you look at the end here, my text fades in. So at some point I decide where I want. So let me revert this because I made some changes. Once you make changes early on, it changes it throughout the whole thing. So then you have to go back and make sure that the layers are not being affected. So if I change the opacity in layer 1, it changes it from that on in the thing. And then so from what I do is I hold down shift and select all the rest, and then I can go back and reset it to how I want. So right here I do my ICU, and I just fade this out as I change my opacity on different things until I get to the end, and it fades completely out. Right, so you just have to make sure that when you're working on this, you're just you're changing it for each animation in the slide, and that's it. And then in the end, I just loop it and I play it. I don't use any tweens on this. If you do a tween, it sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, but it'll add to how many frames there are in your timeline. I didn't really want to do that. I kept mine at 25 frames, I think, or 30 frames. 30 frames per second, 20 to 30 frames per second is a smooth video. So essentially that's what I was going for. And that's it. And then I saved it once, and then I hit export, save for web, and I lower my width to 500, and then 500 pixels, and then I click save. If you're taking this into the four pictures, so we have one of the four different versions of it, you're just gonna take this whole file, you're gonna select it, and you can convert it to a smart object. All right, convert to a smart object, and you're gonna drag that into, or actually you're not gonna convert it to a smart object, you're just gonna group it into a folder. So into a folder like this, and you're gonna drag that into the other file. So open the template, into the template that I gave you, the Samuel Jackson one, and then you're just gonna drag that in, and you're gonna drag in all the others and rotate them so that they're all in different angles, and you're gonna save it as a GIF in the end. I hope that's helpful. All right, bye.